We're gonna mess with the old 873 today. I want to work on. I changed some bushings up in the front here for the steering, and I changed those 2 gas shocks, and it stiffened it up some. You can still see there's some play though, especially on this side. And this thing just walks around all over the place when you start it up. Sometimes when you increase the throttle, it kind of stays put. But it's just really annoying and jerky. Like if you have something on the forks or something, you're trying to be precise, the thing is just, sometimes it gets into a kind of like a bouncing thing. It'll bounce back and forth, and it could be kind of sketchy, especially if you got a big load on it. And then I also had a fuel issue again recently. Before I had this issue, and I was bush hogging a field, and it kind of was a pain in the butt to do. But see the hand pump for the fuel, that thing sucked tight, and it just did it to me again today. And the way you fix that, take this cover off. It's 3 bolts. I just do the 2 and let the cover hang. If you look down there, that right there is your fuel line. So it's hard to see. I don't know if you guys could see it on here. I'll get the flash on. You see that back in there? The fuel line runs to that little elbow that goes down into the tank. So you pry that up, and once you pry that up, it'll give you the chance to pull that line out of the tank. And once you have it out, there's a fuel line that goes down into the tank, which I replaced because the other one was totally dry rotted. And then there's also a little metal filter down at the bottom of the suction tube. That thing was so full of just junk. Like, there was a bunch of algae in there and stuff. So I poured some bad fuel in this one time, and that really screwed me up. But let me pop that out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I pried it up. I was able to get it without my without my screwdriver. Now if this is the first time you're doing this, you'll want to be careful, because the line is going to be really brittle. It's junk. I replaced the line, so it's got new rubber hose in there. And now I can't get it out. Give me one sec. Alright, I got it out. And this is the setup you'll see. So this fuel line is rubber. I put it on there, obviously. But look at that. So that's what will cause your fuel issue. Let me get that off and I'll show you exactly what it is. Alright, so this is a screen that connects to it. Now if you look in there, there's like a ball fitting, or ball valve, I mean. It's hard to see. So it's a one-way valve. You can see this is just, so that's all up in there. So you can't really see, there's all kinds of junk in there. So that's the issue, is like, you can't blow it backwards to blow the stuff out, even if you tried. But so this thing's just full of junk. You can see it squeezing out. So I'm just gonna clean it out with some brake cleaner or something. Stick it back on there. And I'm low on fuel, which is another problem. Like, I need to not run it low on fuel, because it'll just suck up all this garbage. So let's clean it off and then stick it back on there. It's a simple fix, and then we can work on the other thing. me get this cleaned off. All right, got it all nice and clean. There's part of me that wants to just run the thing and not put this back on, and then at least I don't have to dig in there to do this each time, and just let it clog the fuel filter up and just replace the fuel filter every so often. But I don't know. It's probably better off that it's on there, because it probably will just create more problems jacking up the injectors and stuff like that. So, and the pump. So this is definitely takes a few minutes, but it's not the biggest deal. So I got it all cleaned off. We'll stick it back on, and that'll be done. All right, it's back in there. So now it should be good to go. But if you have an issue where you're having like low power, it seems like the idle won't come up. Doesn't seem like the injectors are working or fuel filter's clogged. And then you look at your primer bulb and it's sucked tight. Then more than likely it's going to be your suction side, and that thing is clogged. So all you got to do is just run your, follow your fuel line. Each machine's a little different, but that's going to be the same thing to fix it. So just look at where the fuel line goes into the tank and follow it into there. This fuel filter is basically brand new. It's probably got maybe 100 hours on it, if that. Yeah. So that's an easy way to do that. Now, let's see what we could do to fix the... I took both of these off just so easier access, but basically we got to take that top plate off, which goes over top of the steering, where the steering shafts go into the pump. You can just follow those back, and then I replaced these bushings down here. They were kind of a pain to get in, honestly, but they worked. And you can see there's a ton of play up in the top of that one side. This side's pretty stiff. But I have bushings for it, so I might as well replace them. So I'll do them all at the same time. So what we got to do, we have to get back in here. All the other models I've seen, they don't have that. Well, the 873 does, but I've seen the 763s and stuff, and they don't have the filters up in the top here, so they're like not in the way to do that, where they are on the 873. So it's probably a pain in the butt a little bit more on the 873, and it'll be good if you cleaned all this out beforehand. I missed this part when I was cleaning the machine when I first got it. So that's something I'll do in the spring. But we'll take these nuts off, try to get to the top of each side of the pump. And then this spring's got to come off, so I'll probably have to do that from the front. Alright, I'll take these two loose. So those were, I just used a 15, but ooh, something is underneath here. I won't lose that. So that holds this block on. I'll put this aside. I don't want to accidentally drop that in the back down, and that would be impossible to get. And then I think we have to take this. I don't even know how we're going to get that off with the way that I'm going to have to move that line somehow. It's stiff as hell. Oh, there we go. Alright, I got to figure out what those two are and take those off. Alright, I got the spring out. So the outer nut's a 3/4. This inner nut is a 9/16. It's kind of tight to get in there and do it, but got it out. The hard part's going to be compressing this spring to put it back in, but I think I've done this before with smaller springs like this. You can put zip ties in there, compress it, pull zip ties tight, and it should hold it. If you have enough zip ties on it, it should be safe, hopefully. So we got this plate loose. I'm gonna go on the other side and get the rest of the plate loose, and then we can pull the plate. Alrighty, got it out. Camera battery is about to die. You can't see anything in there because of it. Alright, so now I'm in there. I'm using 9/16 to get this nut off, which is on the top of where the arm, see there? Where the steering arm comes back and attaches to this triangle. Then there's another nut, it's hard to see, right here, and that'll loosen up. See how it's loosened up a little bit? So that'll loosen up that steering triangle from the shaft that comes out of the pump, that square shaft. So now I'll use the pry bar. I'll try to pry this out. I might need to use two hands to finagle it. You get the idea basically on what's going on here, and I'll video it when I get the shaft, the steering triangle off the shaft. Alright, I'm still fighting this stuff. It's not coming off. I unhook both arms, and I'm gonna spray it up and try to scrape some of that grease and grime off the top. That might be keeping it from coming. But you can see I got the nut or the bolt backed out. It's just stuck. Been wiggling it with some breaker bars and stuff, and I'm just gonna spray it up. It's too damn tight to even fit anything in there. If I could work on the damn thing from the front, it would be so much easier. But these stupid hydraulic filters are in the way. It's frustrating. I hate working on this stuff that's so tight, but gotta do it. Alright, so don't do what I did. I figured you could back this thing off and it would loosen up around that shaft enough where you could lift it up. I had to take that all the way out. I guess it was still getting hung up. So now, yeah, there we go. Well, that was stupid. So I just wasted like a half hour dealing with this. So it was still hung up just enough, I guess, which I can't really understand how, because there was plenty of space in there. Alright, so this is what we got. Now, oh, I have to thread that out. Cams actually look, I have to look to see what these are supposed to look like. I'm sorry, I'm not even videoing it. There's a flat spot on this one. So it's a little worn. So I should probably just replace the cams while I have everything apart. I'm assuming, because this side doesn't feel too bad, I'm assuming that this side's going to be a problem. If I can even get it off. Let me, I'm not going to videotape that because it's so tight in there. It's hard to see. And then there's a bushing, it looks like, in here, which is a little bit worn out. See, it's got some play in the bushing. So I'll back this out, replace that bushing, probably press it out of this. I'll clean this thing up, both of them up, and I'll see what I could get. If I get cams in here soon, was trying to use this for work this week, but that's not going to happen. So hopefully I can get it all squared away, and I can use it to make some money. It's a kind of big job, but we'll see. So let me get the other one out, check that out. Sprayed them with brake clean, try to clean them up pretty good. You can see they're a little worn, this one especially. Enough that I could get my finger stuck on it. And then these are also a little worn out. So while I have it apart, I think I'm just going to order those, replace them. We'll replace these bushings right now, which is simple, I would imagine. So I'll take them out, replace them, and then I just sprayed everything in here. I mean, it's filthy, but I sprayed. You see all that crap up in there? I think I'm gonna get a pick and try to pick all that out. But there should be a dust shield in there anyway, so it shouldn't matter. But I figure I might as well while I'm at it. I sprayed it all with brake clean, so I'll get a pick or just a little flathead and scrape it all out. And hopefully I can get those cams pretty soon, which would be awesome. If I can get them by the weekend, that'd be sweet. If not, then I guess this thing's gonna be sitting here for a while. At least it's in a area that I don't need it right now. So yeah, I'll order those and then we'll replace them. All right, yeah, these things are pretty roasted. That's the bushing. It's not supposed to fall apart like that. This is all one piece. So I'll pull that one out. I have the other ones in the freezer, so they'll slide in hopefully easier. And I'll press them in, and that should be it. All right, so I got the other one in. And if you look at this one, look how crazy that is. That's been so worn out. I guess it's just been worn out for so long that it's caused all this play. And check out how worn that is. Actually, around where the bushing is, wore this whole entire thing out. So I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to order another one of these. I'm not sure. I feel like I could get away without ordering a new steering rod or shaft. Worst comes to worst, I could probably either fill this in with JB Weld or just weld it and then grind it down smooth. Because it didn't affect the hole at all. It just, and honestly, I don't even know. I mean, I guess it would eventually ruin a new one of these because it would wear it out like this is now. Look at that though. That's pretty crazy. So that would cause an issue too. The cams don't look terrible, but I guess I'm just going to order new ones just to do it. That way it's all new. I know I'm starting fresh and I won't be troubleshooting this again, hopefully. So we'll order some parts and then go from there. While I'm waiting for parts for this thing, I was thinking of a way to get heat in here. And the best thing I figure, the easiest and cheapest way would be to run, let's see. Actually, I'll show you the idea. It's the same idea as I have running on my stove here. So basically this just sits on the top. I've got an inline fan, and it just sucks the hot air off of there, comes in here, and it just dumps out in here. It heats up this space pretty good. I mean, you can't really see because lights aren't on, but it heats up that space pretty good, sucking the hot air off there. So it's the same idea. Basically, I got, let's see what we got here. Got my inline fan. It's just a boat fan or a vent fan for a boat. I got a switch here. Just got some 4-inch AC duct, heat duct, and this plastic little coupler piece. So basically my plan is to just run it off the heat from inside the engine compartment. These Bobcats, I'm not really sure why. Maybe so you can run the exhaust, or I'm not sure honestly why. Maybe it's for a different engine configuration or something. They just use the same doors. But there's this little piece that was here, a little piece of metal that you could unbolt. So I unbolted it, and then I'm gonna just trace out the same piece. And I got a piece of 4-inch pipe. I'll just weld that onto the same piece and bolt it in. And then I'll just clamp that duct to this. And that should pull, I mean, it probably gets pretty dang hot in here. Definitely hotter than it is outside in the winter. So I'll pull that, then I'll run that coupler through the back window, which I just glued some plexiglass on there, or epoxied it on. So I'll put that there, and then that way I can run it straight into the cab, and then I'll run the inline fan somewhere in the cab to a switch, so I could turn it on and off. Like if it's getting too warm, I can just cut it off. The other thing I was worried about when I was thinking about doing that is the fact that there's probably going to be some exhaust fumes and stuff like that in the engine bay. So that's another thing I guess I'll deal with when the time comes. But there's like a little opening on the top here. I was gonna put a piece of plastic or something up there, and then if it did get too hot or too, I don't know, too many fumes, like this thing's not gonna be sealed tight. There's gaps all over the place. So I figured I could just use that and put just prop it up if I need to, let some hot air out, and then cut the fan off. But we'll see. So I just traced this out. I got an old scrap Dodge out here, which I was taking to the scrapyard soon. I'm keeping the frame. That's my neighbor's donkey. So I'm keeping the frame, motor, trans, everything. I'm just gonna scrap the body of this thing because it's shot. But I'll trace it here. I'll cut this out real quick and weld that little piece, just tack weld that piece to it and bolt it in. All right, we got her cut. I'm gonna have to cut this a little different, but bolt holes line up. So now what I'll do is I'll just take that piece of pipe, let's see, lay it over top. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all, but I do want it doesn't have to be perfect at all, that's for sure. I don't want to cover up the bolt holes. So I'll trace that out, and I do kind of want to keep it one piece though. So I'll move this up a hair. I'll trace that out, and I'll just trace this here, cut that little piece out, tack weld it, and that's it really. And then like when it's warm out, I could pop the other piece on, just take 2 bolts, pop the other one on, and that way I don't have a gaping hole in here that leaks right onto the alternator. We don't want that. Trying to think if there's another thing I could do. Would be cool. I guess it doesn't matter really. Basically, if I'm not using this and it's sitting outside, I'll probably just throw a can over the top of it, call it a day in the winter while it's on, and then when it's off in the, when it's warmer out, I could just cover that with the original cover. But I'll cut this out and we'll bolt it on there. There it is. It's a real piece of work, but it's good enough to clamp a vent to. So now I'll probably wait to put the cab down until I get my part. Or actually, I could pop it down real quick. Nothing's in the way, I don't think. So I'll pop the cab down. Then I'll look for a good spot to drill a hole in the back. and we'll do that. Install the plastic piece, and then we can figure out where we should stick the fan and all that. So I got this piece here. I was trying to figure out the best place to put it. You can't really look right straight behind your head, and it doesn't matter. You don't really usually have to look up. So I'm probably gonna stick it right up in there. So it's not like hindering my view or anything. You can't see shit out of these things anyway, really. The only other thing I have to worry about is where I'm gonna run this vent line. I guess if I have enough play in it, it'll be okay, because even if this arm, the loader arms are gonna move, if there's enough play in it, it'll just move around on there. It's not a big deal. Or I could just probably put like a hard bend in it and run it underneath, and it would be fine. It shouldn't get crushed because it's 4-inch. So let's do that. And my phone's about to die, so let me charge this thing up. Alright, I'm glad it doesn't look as bad from out here, but man, I'll tell you what. So I went to try to use this. It's like a drywall, so it works real good for that kind of stuff. I used it to put lights in my soffit. But as you can see, this stuff's not real. It's not flexible at all. It's like shatters like glass. So I started drilling into it, and the thing broke all over the place. So I had to finish it up with the grinder, which is what I should have done to begin with. Because look at this, I made a destroy. Well, you can't even really tell, but it is just, oh god dang, it cracked all up. Whatever. I guess I could cut a piece of like, something to reinforce that up there, and put it on the opposite side, but I'm just gonna call it a day and stick it in there. So I'm just gonna shoot a couple self tappers in there just to get it so it stays, and then I'll run the hose and see what it looks like. Alright, so here's what I'm kind of thinking. At first I was thinking I could put the fan in here, but it won't fit. That way I don't have to run wires really far. So what I'm gonna do is I'll run the ductwork in there, and then the fan, I was thinking it would be kind of nice just to have it here. There's a good amount of space. I could run it straight from there to duct. I could run it probably like there, and then run it off like, well, there's a switch for nothing there, but I'll run those wires back to the battery, and then I'll just leave the duct down here hanging, and then I can just control where I want it. Like if I want to put it down by my feet, I can run it down between my legs down to my feet, and do it that way. So that's the route I'm thinking. I'm gonna get some wire. I'll run the wire into the cab, run a switch on it, and that should be pretty good. That stuff's nice and clear. I pulled all the plastic off, but I'm not sure how long that will last because it's all cracked. Kind of annoying. And that stuff's expensive. That little sheet was like $30 or something. But it would be nice. This stuff's like more flexible. I don't know what this is, but better off getting that kind of stuff. But they didn't have it at Home Depot. I'm gonna have to order it special next time. But yeah, so I'm gonna get all that mounted up, and then I'll show you the finished product. Or I mean the half-ass finished product. Here it is, rigged up right now. We'll see if it works. I'm gonna put a carbon monoxide detector in there before I run it, just to be on the safe side. I don't think this thing's not tight enough, and I got this gap up in the top here. So and I'm not gonna cover that right now unless it's like bitter cold. But I mean, there's none of this is sealed, so there's a ton of air getting in here. But it's coming in there. I might rig something up to pull that to the side, but I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just gonna be right behind my head. And then there's the fan, and I just have it hooked to a switch. So it should pump some air. And then I was thinking I'll just get another piece of tubing and just leave it hanging in here, and that way I can just like, I can lay it over my lap or something. If my feet are cold, put it down by my feet. Or you know, say like the windshield gets steamed up or something, I could just aim it at the windshield for a bit. And that's the windshield. I don't know, there's a bunch of like these spider cracks in it, if you can see. So when the sun hits it, it's like impossible to see out of. So I think I'm gonna go to like the glass shop around here, have them put new glass in it, and go from there. I got hydraulic fluid all over it, so it actually like looks semi-clear. But so that's it. Yeah, we'll see how it works. I'll put it to the test soon, and check back with you guys and see if it worked or not. I spent almost more money on that piece of plexiglass in the back there than I did with this whole setup. I think I have like probably 35 bucks in it with the tubing, that little piece in the window, and that little fan motor. But and the switch too. Actually, I bought a switch for it, which I didn't need because there's one sitting in there I could have used. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If you liked what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more of this kind of stupid shit, just hit subscribe. And there's a bell notification thing. And I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. But if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, it would help me out. Right. We got the goods. So here we go. There's the part number if you need it. I usually get my stuff, like, if you get Bobcat parts from Bobcat, it's sometimes they're almost double of what they are from this site. It's called All Skid Steers. They don't give me anything, you know, for saying that, but it's just nice to be able to go to a site and order it, and it's here within like 2 days or so usually. And you know, the parts are like just about half the price, some of them maybe even less. Some are like a little bit, you know, about the same price depending. But so we got the pintle triangle thing, whatever you want to call it. We got some cams. So I got 4 cams, and I needed it was close to getting free shipping, and I needed a few more bushings anyway, so I got a few more bushings, and then my backup sensor. So this switch activates when you back up, and sets the alarm off for the machine. Mine's all bent up and broken. I don't think it works actually, because it was disconnected from the previous owner. So we got our cams on there. So so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna swap everything out. I'll put a new bushing in here, and put everything in. So like I showed you the other, how worn out this thing is. So like you could see the flat spots on the cam, and then obviously that's extremely worn. So I was thinking the other day, I was trying to figure out if I should bother. You can see how this is worn out kind of around the bushing. The metal is. I was trying to figure out if I should do something about that or leave it. So I guess what I'll do, I'm going to take that bushing out and then weld all around that and then grind it flush so it doesn't cause any issues grabbing on the new one. Then it should be good to go. Just like this one. This one's nice and smooth. And oddly enough, that side is the one that I had a lot of play in. And the bushings are pretty good, or the bushing was kind of bad, I guess, and that's where the play came from. But the cams themselves they were actually pretty decent on that side. But I figure I'll change them all out. Alright, so I decided to do the same thing here. I didn't even notice it until afterwards, but the blocks were a little worn from the cam rubbing on them. So I just welded a little bit to it. I'll just grind it down smooth and save a couple bucks that way. Got everything put back together basically. I gotta get this spring compressed and put it in there. I guess safer way would be to put a spring compressor on it. I don't have a spring compressor for this. So here's what I'm gonna do. Put it in here. Compress it a little bit. Get some zip ties. I guess we'll see. 4 should probably be fine. But we'll see. Maybe I'll need more. Maybe I'll put my welding mask on just to be on the safe side. Alright. So I'll put my mask on just to be safe. But basically, you just want to compress this thing. Let me do this over. Probably get away with 3, I guess. Let's see. little wonky. Alright, I think that's good enough, but we'll see. Guess we'll find out. Alright, here's what the rat's nest of zip ties looks like now, but it's on there. I just haven't tightened it all the way, but it's threaded on, so I'm going to cut them loose, tighten it all, and then that should be it, really. I meant to throw some grease on those cams, and I could slip it in from somewhere, I guess. I'll just try to slip it in from here, rub it all in there. But that's it. Then I'll reconnect everything. I'm gonna have to jack this off the ground, but it's super nasty outside, and I don't feel like running this thing in here right now and stinking up my shop. So I have to install an exhaust fan in here still. And so basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'll have to jack the skid steer up. There's plates, well those blocks, so I bolt them back in. I'll jack it up, hook all the connections up, and then I will loosen these plates, and then I'll just wiggle it till each side is neutral, lock the plates back into place, and that way there's no creep or anything like that. So that's it really. So I'll button it all up and I'll show you the finished product, and then I'll see, well, I'll show you how I adjust the creep on it and make sure it stays in like a neutral position. So I got this ratchet strap on the arm where I want it. And I loosen it up. Alright, so I got it all done. So now, basically what I did to adjust the wheels, the neutral, the gear neutral, I just took the arms off of I unbolted the arms from the actual controls. I'm not gonna lift it right now, but basically I did that and unbolted the two rods. Then I just set the back rod where I wanted it, and if I couldn't get it, I was working by myself, if I couldn't get it, I just ratchet strapped it through the one steering rod, ratchet strap it, and then just keep playing with it until the tires stop moving. This one's still got a slight creep to it, so I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be like when it's on the ground, but I had it on jack stands, so there was no pressure against it. It was barely spinning, so I think it'll be okay. And then I plan on hooking this up, throwing it out there, and putting like a carbon monoxide detector in there, just so I can be sure that I'm not gonna end up killing myself or anything. But I just re-greased everything. I'm gonna get ready to use this for work, and just re-greased everything, made sure everything's all clean. And then I got new glass for this door coming. I'm not sure when, but you can see this has see all these like little cracks and stuff through it. This is, I think it's Lexan. But I just got glass. It's like $100 on eBay, so hopefully it works. And I don't know, it should be simple. I just have to melt the sealant that they used on here. Just melt that out and cut it with I know people have used like piano wire or something to cut these out. But yeah, so you can't, it's hard to see through this when, see all that? When the sun is shooting through it, you can't see anything. And it's weird because the areas, I just had hydraulic fluid blow all over this thing because I accidentally left my tree spade attached and backed off of it, and it blew the lines right off, and it actually cleared up sections of it. So I think that's just temporary though, and all the dirt will get stuck to it. But let's get this thing started up, test it out, feel how, you know, how it operates, and we'll go from there. All right, so she's not really creeping bad, so that's nice. Let's see how she does hooking up to stuff. She was real jumpy before. I'm gonna move that tree spade with it, so see how that goes. Night and day difference. It handles so much better. I probably could adjust the speed or the distance on my steering rods. I'll probably shorten them up a little bit so that I get a little bit more forward speed. Seems like the reverse speed is really fast. So yeah, pretty happy with that. All the bushings were replaced in it. I didn't do the foot pedal bushings yet. I'll do those soon. Those are simple. Just that one, and I think there's one there. I'm not sure, but those should be pretty simple. They got a little slop to them, or a good amount. I got this rigged up, so it is blowing hot, warm air out of there, which is nice. maybe I'll do a temperature check, and I'll just leave this run. I'll put the CO detector in here, leave it running, and do a temperature check. Let it sit for like a half hour. All right, so it's been close to probably 20 to 30 minutes now. I left the CO detector in there, and 56 degrees in there right now. It's pretty good. Better than it is outside. It's probably 42 or so outside right now in the shade. So it's working pretty good, I guess. Better than not. Better than